The signal began as nothing, a faint pulse buried under cosmic noise, weaker than the hum of a dying star. On the outer edge of Sol's listening network, where only cold metal and silence kept watch, technician Naila Serrano almost missed it. Her eyes had glazed over hours ago, staring at the endless scrolling of static readings on her monitor, until one set of numbers didn't belong. At first, it looked like interference. Then the pulse repeated. Same intervals, same distortion pattern. Intentional. Intelligent. Her tiredness vanished. "Computer," she whispered, leaning closer, "isolate source and trajectory." The AI chirped. "Signal origin, Perseus arm, approximate distance, 7,200 light-years. Strength, decayed. Message type, distress beacon." Naila froze. A distress call? Out there? Her fingers flew across the console, initiating a deep clean and reconstitution algorithm. For long minutes, the static twisted and reformed until faint words bled through the noise. "Anyone? Please. We are dying." The voice was alien, trembling, worn by centuries of travel. It shouldn't even have reached them, yet it had. A ghost from the edge of time. Within an hour, the discovery was in the hands of the Terran Exploration Command. By morning, it reached the Council. And by dusk, the entire military intelligence network was alive with debate. Was it a trap? An echo from a long-dead world? Or something else? A genuine cry for help from a civilization that still, somehow, clung to life. Commander Adrian Holt, head of Terran Fleet Operations, studied the decoded visuals in silence. A planet covered in storm belts. Cities turned to dust. And across it all, that broken voice, repeating endlessly into the dark. Once, long ago, humanity had sent signals like that to anyone who might be listening. No one ever answered. Now they were the ones with the power to respond. "Patch me through to the Council," Holt said finally. "We're sending a retrieval team." A younger officer hesitated. "Sir, it's 7,000 light-years into the Perseus arm. We don't know what's there. The signal's 2 centuries old." Holt turned, his expression cold steel. "Then we're 2 centuries late. That's on us." Outside, Earth rotated slowly in the void, the cradle of monsters and miracle workers alike. Humanity had been called Death Worlders by the galaxy for a reason. They came from a world that forged resilience in fire and ice, in war and ruin. But beneath that ferocity, something else burned. Empathy. The kind born from shared pain. The order went through that same hour. A fleet was assembled. Their mission: locate the source, assess survivors, and if possible, save whoever was still left alive. As the fleet engines roared to life and blue light shimmered across their hulls, Naila Serrano watched the fading pulse of that ancient message replay on her screen, a dying whisper from across the stars. She smiled faintly. "Don't worry," she murmured. "You called, and we heard you."
The Terran flagship TNS Resolute hung in orbit above Luna, a dark shape against the silvered light. Beneath its armored hull thrummed reactors powerful enough to light a continent. Inside, Admiral Adrian Holt stood before the Council's holographic dais, a ring of leaders projected in shimmering blue light, each representing a different faction of the new Terran Union. The hologram of Counselor Virey flickered. "Admiral, that signal is 2 centuries old. There's nothing left out there. We cannot waste resources on ghosts." Holt's jaw tightened. "We don't know that." "We do, Admiral," another voice cut in, this one colder. "The Virelians were a minor species on the galactic fringe. Their world collapsed when their star shifted. They were abandoned because no one could reach them in time. Why should Earth care now? Because someone has to, Holt said. The silence that followed was heavy. Through the viewport, Earth glowed like a sapphire, the homeworld that birthed Deathworlders. Humanity had clawed its way out of extinction again and again. Radiation, ice ages, famine, and war, all had tried to break them, and all had failed. And that history had left its mark. When the rest of the galaxy called them savages, they took it as truth, and then proved savages could be saviors too. Holt turned toward the holographic map. This isn't just about the Varelians, it's about who we are. We were the ones who sent messages into the void once, desperate, alone, and no one answered. Not again. He cut the connection before they could respond. The decision was made. Hours later, the Resolute's hangars roared to life. Rows of Terran soldiers in graphite armor stood ready, their helmets reflecting the glow of pre-launch lights. Engineers loaded atmospheric restoration drones, planetary shields, and biohabs. The ship's AI reported final system checks with a calm, synthetic tone. Captain Nayla Serrano, promoted after discovering the signal, walked the flight deck in disbelief. She had never left the solar system before. Now she was about to chase a 200-year-old echo across the stars. Holt passed her on the way to the command bridge, offering only a nod. She hesitated. "Yes, sir." "Good," Holt said. "Means you understand what's at stake." When the countdown hit 0, the Resolute leapt into the void, flanked by a dozen escort destroyers. Space folded, light bent, and in a single heartbeat, Earth vanished behind them. Hours passed in the eerie calm of hyperspace. Through the transparent observation decks, streaks of white light flowed like rivers. Somewhere ahead lay a dead system, a forgotten civilization, and a question humanity couldn't ignore. What if someone had answered us back then? When the fleet dropped out of FTL, sensors immediately screamed. The planet was there, gray, broken, lifeless, but they weren't alone. Multiple energy signatures surrounded the world. Not Varelian, not human, unknown, and active. Holt leaned forward, voice steady. "Helm, hold position. Bring the fleet to alert. Someone's already found our ghosts."
The Resolute emerged from FTL like a leviathan breaching black waters. The dying planet loomed beneath, a scarred sphere wrapped in thunder. Its surface was veiled by ash clouds that flickered with lightning. But above it, orbiting like carrion over a corpse, floated a fleet. 15 ships, unfamiliar design, curved hulls plated with black alloy, their engines burning with cold blue light. Predatory, silent. Admiral Holt stood at the command dais as the tactical map updated, each alien ship a crimson dot around the planet. "Identify them," he ordered. "Working on it," replied Lieutenant Eco. "Transponder codes? Nothing on record. No known Alliance signatures." A faint signal crackled over open comms, sharp, metallic, translated through the Resolute's AI. "Unidentified vessels. You are entering a restricted system. Withdraw immediately." The bridge went silent. Holt narrowed his eyes. "This world sent a distress call," he said calmly, activating his own comm channel. "We're here to answer it. Identify yourselves." A pause. Then the alien voice returned, colder this time. "This world is under reclamation. Its people were deemed non-viable. You have no claim here." Reclamation. The word hit Holt like a knife. Genocide, dressed in bureaucracy. "Sir," Eco said quietly, "they're charging weapons." The Admiral didn't blink. "Raise shields, lock targeting solutions. Do not fire unless fired upon." For one heartbeat, the void held its breath. Then the first shot came, a blue lance of plasma that struck the Resolute's forward barrier in a burst of white fire. The deck shuddered beneath them. Return fire, Holt said softly. Terran railguns barked thunder. Metal slugs crossed the darkness at a fraction of light speed, ripping through alien shields like paper. Destroyers moved in formation, releasing swarms of drone fighters that streaked through debris fields with surgical precision. The aliens countered with energy volleys, their ships darting in synchronized arcs, but the Deathworlders had fought worse, and survived worse. On the bridge, Eco's voice cut through the chaos. 2 enemy ships destroyed, the rest are scattering. Don't chase, Holt barked. Form defensive orbit, focus on the surface. I want scans, deep level, find out what's down there. Moments later, the holo display shimmered, revealing faint energy readings across the planet's crust. Buried selters, heat signatures, life. They're alive, Serrano whispered. Not many, but survivors. After all this time. Holt exhaled slowly. Prepare landing teams. Send drones to clear atmospheric entry. As the fleet stabilized over the broken world, a new transmission crackled to life, faint and fragile, yet unmistakably real. To any who can hear, we're still here. The sky burns, but we endure. The bridge fell silent. Nayela Serrano felt tears blur her vision. They're still trying, she said softly, after centuries. Holt's voice was quiet, but resolute. Then we'll help them finish the fight. Outside, the storm-torn planet waited, a graveyard with a pulse, while above it, the Deathworlders prepared to descend. Humanity had come, and this time, no one was going to die alone.
The Resolute's hangar doors split open, revealing the dying planet below. Ash clouds boiled like oceans, pierced by streaks of lightning that illuminated a world gasping its final breaths. Dropships peeled away from the carrier, their hulls glowing against the burning sky as they descended through the chaos. Commander Nayela Serrano sat strapped into her harness, feeling the dropship rattle violently as they hit atmosphere. Outside, storms clawed at the windows, black rain hammering metal. Across from her sat a squad of Terran Marines, their armor matte gray and faces expressionless beneath visors. Each of them carried a patch on their shoulder. Deathworlders, we endure. ETA 2 minutes, the pilot barked. Surface scans show radiation pockets and heat signatures clustered in an old subterranean structure 12 clicks south of the equator. Copy that, Serrano said, gripping her sidearm. Her pulse thundered in her ears. She had chased this signal across 7,000 light years. Now she was about to meet the ghosts who sent it. The dropship broke through the final layer of cloud, and the surface came into view. Cracked terrain stretched to the horizon, littered with the bones of cities swallowed by sand. The remains of glass towers rose like teeth from a corpse. It was a graveyard. Yet beneath it, something glowed. A soft blue shimmer pulsed from a fissure in the ground. "Deploying!" the pilot shouted. The craft touched down, landing gear hissing against the scorched earth. The Marines moved first, securing the perimeter. Serrano followed, her boots sinking into the ash. The air tasted of metal and sorrow. With a handheld scanner, she traced the faint life signs underground, then found a collapsed tunnel half covered in debris. "Here," she called. They cut through the rubble, and the moment the last beam fell away, the survivors came into view. They were thin, translucent-skinned beings, the Virelians. Eyes sunken, movements sluggish from malnutrition, yet still alive. Maybe 100 of them, huddled around a dim geothermal core. When they saw the humans, some gasped, others trembled in disbelief. One stepped forward, tall, frail, voice shaking. "Are you real?" Serrano knelt, removing her helmet. "We heard your call." The Virelian's eyes filled with tears. No one ever came." "Well," she said softly, "someone finally did." Above, the clouds began to break, as Terran drones seeded the skies with restoration nanites. Filters ignited in orbit, scattering the toxins. For the first time in centuries, sunlight pierced the haze. It painted the ruins gold. From orbit, Admiral Holt watched the transformation unfold. His officers stood in silent awe. "Sir," Hiko said, voice trembling, "it's working. The planet's stabilizing." Holt only nodded. "Transmit a message to all networks. Open frequency." The comm officer hesitated. "Sir, what do you want to say?" He turned toward the stars. "Tell them this. If your world is dying, call us. Earth is listening." And across the void, where silence had once reigned, that message spread, a beacon of defiance and compassion carried on Terran frequencies. Because humanity had learned the hardest truth of all. No one should have to die alone.